I used to work at a gift shop when a man asked me if we sold maps. I showed him a world map and he frowned. He pointed at it and said, "Do you have one that only shows America?" I explained that a world map shows the entire planet. He shook his head and said, "That seems unnecessary. I don't really care what's going on everywhere else." A guy I worked with believed that if you drove downhill in neutral, your car wouldn't use any gas and might even gain fuel somehow. He would brag about outsmarting the system and claimed he was saving hundreds of dollars a year. He was shocked when his gas mileage didn't improve at all. A woman once called customer support because her Bluetooth speaker wasn't working. After a long conversation, I realized she thought wireless meant it didn't need electricity. She refused to charge it because she didn't want to ruin the wireless feature. I was waiting tables at an Italian restaurant when a customer sent back her pasta. She said it tasted weird and asked why there was garlic in it. When I explained that garlic was a main ingredient, she said, "Well, I didn't expect it to taste like garlic. That's false advertising." A tourist in New York was staring at the Statue of Liberty and said, "I thought she'd be moving around more." When asked what he meant, he replied, "In movies, she's always doing stuff. Standing there all day seems lazy." My cousin believes that clouds are made from smoke coming out of factories. She once asked why the government doesn't just turn factories off at night so the sky can clear up by morning. In a history class, a student argued that medieval knights used guns, but they were later erased from history to make modern weapons seem more impressive. When the professor corrected him, the student accused the textbook of being biased. A customer tried to return a toaster because the bread came out too crispy. When asked about the settings, she said she always sets it to the highest level because she wants the toast done faster. My old roommate tried to heat soup by putting the entire metal can directly into the microwave. When it sparked and shut off, he complained that the microwave was too sensitive. At a zoo, a man was yelling at a staff member because the lions were sleeping. He said, "No, we paid to see animals, not naps. Can you wake them up or something?" A woman at a doctor's office insisted her child had reverse allergies, meaning he only sneezed when there was no dust around. She rejected every medical explanation and said doctors just didn't understand modern conditions. A girl I went on a date with thought that organic food meant it was grown without sunlight. She said that's why it costs more, but because it's harder to make. A man tried to pay for gas using a credit card that expired 5 years ago and argued that expiration dates were just suggestions. I had to explain to someone in their 20s that the Cold War was not a movie franchise. They thought it was related to action films from the 80s. A tourist asked a security guard at Buckingham Palace if the guards ever get bored and go home early. He seemed disappointed when told they don't. My coworker keeps a crystal on her desk that she claims charges itself emotionally if you compliment it every morning. Someone posted online asking how to unsubscribe from daylight saving time because they were tired of losing an hour every year. A guy once told me that wind turbines create wind, and without them, the air would just sit still. A customer at an electronics store asked if bigger TVs use more electricity because the people inside them have more room to move. My friend eats only foods that feel healthy. He said chips don't count as junk food because they're made of potatoes. A man called emergency services because his navigation app took him onto a dirt road. He said the app was clearly trying to get rid of him. A tourist in a famous museum complained that there were too many paintings and not enough places to sit and scroll on her phone. My uncle refuses to use contactless payment because he believes the card reader memorizes his thoughts. A woman tried to cancel her gym membership because the treadmill wasn't motivating enough. In astronomy class, a student asked why the moon doesn't fall down. When gravity was mentioned, he said that sounded like an excuse. At a farmer's market, a man was upset that the eggs came from chickens and asked if they had any eggs that were more factory-made. My roommate tried to hang a shelf using tape because he said screws were too aggressive. A woman called the fire department because her smoke alarm was loud, not because there was a fire, but because it was hurting her ears. A tourist at the Dead Sea asked if floating was optional or included in the ticket price. A guy thought manual labor meant work done only by men named Manuel. A woman insisted on using premium gas in a car that clearly didn't need it because expensive things are always better. My cousin once asked when the world officially switched from black and white to color. A man tried to sue a cafe because coffee made him depend on mornings. A customer asked if bottled water was gluten-free. A tourist complained that an ancient monument didn't look as impressive in person as it did in video games. My friend's mom takes screenshots by photographing her phone screen with another phone. Someone tried to ban water at a town meeting without realizing what it actually was. A woman called tech support because she couldn't find the any key on her keyboard. A guy unplugged his freezer every night to save power and couldn't figure out why everything melted. A tourist asked why old castles were broken and if anyone planned to finish them. A coworker refused painkillers because her zodiac sign warned against modern medicine. A woman returned a salad because it didn't come with flavor. And finally, a man at a baseball game was furious that the umpire's outfit wasn't patriotic enough. He said, "If this is America's sport, at least dress like it."